we shouldn't limit our endeavor or kind of our effort on what we study in schools alone. We can as well train ourselves in the various types of kind of jobs, or kind of how do I put it, vocational skills. That way, let me put it that way. You can as well develop yourself with some kind of vocational skills that are well required in most of all those countries, because there are a lot of things that have happened before COVID-19. There are a lot of things happening after this COVID-19. So there are a lot of things that are attached to it that we can benefit as Christian youths.
Thank you very much. No, I mean, that's a good one. That means we have opportunities. The prospect is high. That's what we're being told right now. Then another question is, what is the best approach to relocate, though by job? No. Then is it through self or through agency? Because so many people want to do it, approach, or using agency. Which is the best?
Yeah, actually, from my past experience so far in this job, I don't work for lazy people. The honest being that, being honest in the sense that if I'm working for you on how you are to relocate away from this country with your careers and all that, you must as well have an idea of what you are doing. You understand? So there are various ways you can leave this country with your good career and your good profile and all that. You understand? Like I used to tell people that if you are being denied visitor visa, that's not the end of the world. If Canada is not giving visa or America is not giving visa, you can as well explore some other African countries pending the time you come back to reapply. That's what they expect from you. You understand? So there are many ways you can really do it. You can go through agency when it's being sponsored. You understand? Agency will come out with packages that will be kind of sponsored, maybe employee sponsor package, or even the agency might even use their own money to do all the running around, and after that you pay. There are various ways you pay it back. You might pay from here, you might pay over there. You understand? But paying over there will attract some little percentage to the money you're supposed to pay. You understand? So you can go through agency if they are trusted, and because once you are giving your job to someone, this country is very delicate now. Once you're dropping a kind of job like that to someone to help you package a kind of relocation and all that, you must as well go online and then do your own research on whatever the person is doing. If he's giving you feedback, then do your own research on that feedback and see if it's really true or not. You get? So you can go through agency, and then you can do it yourself, because Canada, if you go to their website, their site is very interactive, that you can really get what you need to do. Just put things right and you get it done. That's the way I can put it up.
Thank you very much. I mean, in a little contribution, yes, you can do it yourself, because readers are leaders. You need to read wide. Take, for instance, approaching that. If you go to YouTube, there are so many people teaching us how to do this by self. And there are several websites you can also approach. Each country, has the embassy, has a website that teaches you how to do it. It's step by step, precept by precept on how to approach this. If you want to approach Canada, CIC is there. If you want to go to us.gov is there. If you want to go to Ireland, there's so many. And you have to be open. And it's all about passion. Passionate about things will actually give you leverage to accessing whatever you want. There is no limit to somebody who is passionate about things. And secondly, you can also use agency. But one thing I will suggest, you have to profile the agency you want to use. Because there are several people who are claiming to be legal immigration agents. And before you know it, they will package you to their own advantage. And you have, at the end of the day, you will be asking that this is not what I bargained for. So it's better to profile and also tested and trusted agency. And the question I want to ask you, sir, what are the factors you need to ask or to look for when you are profiling the agency that are good or bad? Thank you.
We have certified immigration lawyers. If you go to the cic.gc.ca, you will see the list of certified immigration lawyers. We also have some immigration lawyers right here in Nigeria too, who can help you out with all that and all that. But at least you must get to know their accreditation number and all that to be sure of who you are laying your eggs on or whatever. So, and then another thing I want to add up to you, sir, is this. You can go through LinkedIn. There are some applications you can use to kind of upgrade your profile. You can go through LinkedIn and then take some online courses. You understand? Before you even start up, you must look at the demand of the profession they really need in the country you are really going to. You understand? Like the UK, as we speak now, the UK need health workers. They really need it, as in, it's really shocking them. They need health workers in UK. You understand? And then they don't ask much. Once you have just a year experience, is good enough for you to be eligible for that package. So you can go. You can also use Indeed website or the app. You understand, to put in your profile, your CV, your resume, and all that. But another thing I want you to know is that the way we arrange our resume here in Nigeria is different from the way it's being done in Canada, Australia, UK, and all that. They have their own kind of formats of how you put it. So those are the things I think you need to put in place, and then get your documents proper. There shouldn't be any documents contradicting each other. You understand? There are some personal documents. Like now, Nigeria, we think we don't have data, though we don't have data, but the little we have, the Western world are really using it. Like the NIN you see is a very important document. That NIN you see is a very, very important document that needs to go along with every other document you have. Because if you look at some people, they have issues with the change of name, date of birth, and things like that. Everything has to be put in place. You understand, with all your credentials and all that. So there shouldn't be anything hindering each other. So that's it, sir.
Thank you very much. There is this, you mentioned something, job sponsored. Can you throw more light in job sponsored, opportunity?
Okay, sir.
And what are the prospects and what disadvantage do you have when you are being sponsored, by a job? On a job to travel or to relocate to a foreign country.
Yeah. I also want us to have it at the back of our mind that there are some traffickers too abroad. So you have to be very sure of the job you are going into. You have to be sure of the contract you are signing. You understand? And then there are many opportunities attached to work permits when you take work permits out of this country to either Canada, Australia, or any part of Europe or UK. You understand? But you have to be very sure of the contract you are signing and all that, because we've had a lot, especially in the Arabian world, like the Dubai, the Qatar, and all that, whereby you go in for a job. When you get there, they enslave you. You do some jobs you are not asked to do and things like that. So you have to be very sure of what you are signing in. And then there are some people that they will help you out, sponsor you down there, but the job you are going to be doing there will be different from what you are expecting. So you have to be very sure. One thing I do tell people is that wherever you are going, try and have someone there. Have a contact. Even if that contact is not giving you a dime, just have a contact you can call on, you understand, for emergency reasons and all that. So we have to be, the sponsorship comes in two ways anyway. Just as I've mentioned, I said some agency might decide to sponsor you with their own money and all that. And then sometimes the employer over there might decide to sponsor you, including your tickets and all that, even your family at large and all that. But when the employers are sponsoring you, that means they really need your job. They really need your job, and they want you to come over there with all the things you really needed and all that. If your wife will be in Nigeria and it will be distracting you in working over there, then they will want your wife to come over there and all that. So it all depends. The agency might sponsor you, and then the employer might sponsor you. But Canada have a package they do. They call it Express Entry. Express Entry is a very good package. You understand? Nigeria is an English-speaking country, but sometimes they will ask for your IELTS results. The IELTS is divided into two. We have the academic, we have the general training. The general training is for immigration purpose. The academic is for you to go for your studies over there. You understand? So, and then after the test of English, you do a kind of WES. WES is to standardize all your credentials to Canadian standard or Australian standard or New Zealand standard and all that. You get? And then once you have all that and you sign into the pool, there are two people that might look for you, the province or the organization. If the organization is okay with your profile, they want your job, they call on you, they will give you an ITA. They call it invitation to apply. You understand? And if the province is calling you, that means they are underpopulated in that province. They want you there. You understand? So once you get there, they get you a job, but you must have some money to do your kind of settling and all that over there with your family. It depends on the size of your family. If you are going alone, then you should have about, let's say, 5 million or 7 million in your account. If you are going with your family, you should have about 8 million to 10 million in your account to settle over there. You get? And then when you get to Canada, you also have some association that try to encourage newcomers. If you lack some things, they help you out with some things so as for you to just enjoy your stay over there. You get? And then there are some other things you need to be doing when you get there, even as a PR holder or a kind of work permit holder and all that. You have to do some kind of community service. Clean the bus stops, clean the road and things like that. They are always on record. Because when you come in for your citizenship, those are the things they will flash back to consider you. They will go to your community and ask about you. What has this guy have been doing? What has he been contributing to your community? You understand? So even Canada have a lot of ways of you to get into Canada, a lot of packages. They have the express entry, they have the agri pilot program, they have the Atlantic immigration. The Atlantic immigration is to populate the Atlantic province, like the Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick and the likes. You get? So there are many opportunities. You can easily go to the website and check it out yourself. You understand? There are some things you can do yourself, and then the other ones you can't do. You can call some professionals to help you out. You understand? British Council is the one handling the IELTS exam. But you can sit down and do your exam at any point in time. If you register today, you might decide to tell them that you are writing the exam by January or February at your own convenience time. So that's what I can say.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that contribution. Can we give him a round of applause? He has really, really helped us to see from the Canadian perspective. A little contribution here under job sponsorship route. Anytime you apply for a job sponsorship and you are being sponsored, you have to be very careful, because relocating, getting there is one, then continuity is another, job security is another. Because once you get there and you are assigned a job, any company that sponsors you has the right to deploy you to any area. Either it's pleasing or not pleasing to you, you've already signed it. That's why you have to be very, very careful when you're saying, oh, I want job sponsorship. It's the easiest route, you'll be sponsored, but once you get there, everything is like you relinquish your freedom to the company. And that one have to be very careful. That is, you must have a backup plan. Because one, they might decide not to continue your sponsoring. They might actually, before you get your permanent residence, because your purpose of traveling is to actually maintain a permanent residency. And if the time, before the time being, you've seen Nigerians, you've seen some other countries who are there already, and they've cut off their sponsorship, and they are now in a limbo. They cannot come home, they cannot continue, then they will start hoping. That's why before you relocate, please sought the face of the Lord. If the Lord has told you, He will prepare the way for you. If He has not told you, please don't go. Because most of the time, it's regret. Many are regretting. They can't come back, neither can they go forward. So it's better to actually seek the face of the Lord and allow God to direct you. God told Abraham, leave your father's land and go. Before God told him, he has already prepared places for him. He knew the challenges and he did everything to make it easy for him. So immigration is not a thing we need to be afraid of, but please let's ask God to direct us. Praise the Lord.
To add up to what he just said, the work permit you are likely to get is between 2 years to 5 years. You understand? You can get a work permit of 2 years, contract of 2 years, you can get contract of 5 years. But what I do tell people is that once you get that work permit and you are working over there, the little you have, you can still do your own kind of research, check out the environment, look at what they lack and things like that. You can take some certifications, some courses, you understand, on some occupation, kind of jobs that they really need. You understand? So at the end of your 2 years contract with that company, the company will not force you to sign in another contract with them. You understand? Once you have your certifications and all that, you might decide to go to another province and get another job so that they won't be like choking you up and holding you down over there, thinking that this is the best place you are. No. You understand? You can move to another province with your 2 years work permit. You understand? Even if it's expired, before the work permit gets expired. One thing about Canada is that you can apply for permanent residency outside Canada and inside Canada. You understand? So with your work permit, you can go in for permanent residency instantly, even before the 2 years contract expires. You understand? Then once you put those things through and then you get your PR, you can move to anywhere. Nobody is going to hold you down. So far that you've really settled your bill with the company, you've paid up all your bill. Because one thing they do is, once you get your salary, they deduct the money from your salary. You understand? Bit by bit till you pay up. So that's it.
Praise the Lord. Let's give him a round of applause. He's actually doing justice to the topic. Concerning job sponsors again, or career, I do advise many who had the mindset to go on a career that anytime you are leaving your homeland, don't leave and break the bridge. Don't leave and just close the line that, oh, I'm not going to come back. I can't come back. Open the bridge, because you never can tell. It's an adventure. Unknown land. You never can tell. Those that have gone before, ask them. They will tell you. Whenever you arrive, it's not a bed of roses. You don't pick gold there. You go out to work. You have to labor. Every of your sweat is being dated. Every of your sweat is being actually said, how much hour do you put in? How much earning? What is your inflow? And based on that, they are going to rate you. They have scores, financial scores. So many that are there don't know that they have a financial score. And you say, how much do you have? Because once is getting to zero, they know that this person is not going to make our economy very good. And you are being tagged. And I do tell so many that, oh, I'm leaving. I will never come back home. No. I do tell so many that, look, listen and listen good. Always have a cash cow at home. Immediately you arrive, that's not immediately you start making money. That is a sowing time. Everybody wants to see what you have to offer. And that's how they are going to rate you. They've assessed you. Oh, you're a professional. Oh, this is what you can do. This is what you do. It's not just on your certification. You have to prove it. And if you cannot prove it, then you have a chance to actually have it done or cancel it. Praise the Lord. And I always advise that please have a cash cow at home. Something that will make money for you. Even when you've not started making money out there. That whenever you are working and it's not happening, you can always call home. You have an online banking and transfer from your home currency to just to support you, both your accommodation, your feeding, a basic necessity. Because it's not like here, I'm going to go and meet my brother. I will go and eat gari in his house. No. Everybody is doing what he has to do. If you don't do what you have to do, then you have to suffer what you have to suffer. So, So our advice that we should actually balance things up. Praise the Lord.
Okay, so thank you very much, sir. Please let's appreciate our guests. We've always prayed God to give us people that are very practical because it's a practical issue. I'm glad you mentioned it, sir. Facilitator. A lot of people think when they are lizards in Nigeria, when they travel abroad, they become alligators. No. Lazy people think once they cross the border, the government will start spraying them like a one-bear party. I'm glad you mentioned it. Now to our guests, sir, what do you think is the biggest challenge, the biggest challenges Nigerians face when they travel abroad to go and work? I'm putting it to you, sir.
Yeah, I don't see any big challenge if your the medium whereby you travel down to Canada is straight and pure. You understand? I don't see any challenge. Just as you said, it's only the lazy people that can have any challenge over there, honestly. And I do tell some of my friends that potentials are being wasted here in Nigeria, honestly speaking. Potentials are being wasted here in Nigeria because every little thing you do over there, you are being paid for it. You understand? No issue and all that. But the only thing I know that people need to work on is that settling, just as I've said. You understand? Aside of the money you have in your account, your asset is also a financial backup. If you have lands in Nigeria, you have your cars and all that, they are also financial backup. They do two things anyway. Those assets stand as a financial backup. They also stand as a social ties. Trying to convince them that at least you have something that is attached to you with your country. You understand? You've not forgotten your country. Except for people that seek asylum. You understand? When you seek asylum, that means that you can't come back to Nigeria. You are telling them that Nigeria is a dangerous place for you. People want to haunt you, people want to kill you and things like that. You understand? So I don't see any special challenge over there. I don't see any special challenge at all.
Do we have any questions? We are open to questions right now. No, there's questions bothering your mind, and our guest is here. Is ready to take questions. And another thing I want us to know, anytime we are relocating, we should always be truthful to ourselves. Because you don't have the route you want to go and permanent. You want permanent residency, but you apply through visiting. Everybody that applied abroad have immigration records.
Yes.
And whatever you said you would do is what has been recorded.
Yes.
Once you are there and you think, I would stay put, you are just marking time. Because, the record is there. If you go to the American embassy, they will tell you that they don't run after those who actually abscond because they know where they are. They don't run after them. They have their records. They are not threats to the American, as a country and economy. But anytime they open up the record and they want to look for them, they know where they are. So that's why you have to be very careful that I want to relocate and let me just lie. Let me just everybody has immigration record. And based on that, spend 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. What your record profiles you to be is what will be there. And if it's changing, they're also knowing. And those that are harboring, they'll know them. So please use the best route. If you are going via studentship, go via studentship. Career, if you're a student and you finish up and you want to apply for H-1B visa, is opened. They know that, okay, you graduated and you're going to change to change status. That is good. They know that this is status. And of course, your green card, you'll be renewing. You actually do if you are on a particular visa and you need to renew your visa, you know that you are renewing, and that is legit. That is legitimate. So it's good to use the route that is actually clean. Live clean, and when you are supposed to be home, be home. Once you are home and you want to apply, the door is open to you. But if you go and you actually lied and you covered, it's just for a moment. After some time, it will close the record. Some has been sponsored on sponsorship, and they're supposed to be there. And when they're supposed to be home, they refuse to be home. One, that route, you might even block it so that others will not be sponsored through that route. You can see the harm you have done to so many Nigerians who will have used the same route that you have used. So please, it's an advice. Let's use legitimate means and let's do it right and let's fear God. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 2 questions. I was thinking last week actually, but I didn't get the opportunity of asking. For some Nigerians who relocate with their children, especially, I know there, secondary school, primary school is usually free. But I wanted to know exactly what happens when those children are about to get to university. Will they be able to enjoy free tuition just based on work permits, or they have to have become citizens before they can get free tuition? And then secondly, I wanted to ask about other parts of the world that people don't think about too much, like Netherlands, all those, and all. Can you speak to that, please? Thank you.
To start with, concerning the first question our daddy asked, in Canada, I'm very sorry that I'm always specific about Canada because that's where I really focus my field, you get. So in Canada, they have 3 types of people living in Canada. We have the citizen, we have the permanent resident holders, and then we have the international students. You understand? Now, the citizen pay the lowest fee, followed by the PR holders, then followed by the international students. So if you are going into Canada with your children, if they are about to go into the university, then they will apply in form of PR. So you'll be paying lesser. Their university is not free, but they have cheap universities over there, yes. And then concerning the second question, there are some European countries that are currently doing a kind of talent hunt in Nigeria. If you watch some of the past events we have, international events like the sports, athletics and all that, you can see a lot of Nigerians running for another countries. A lot of them, sir. A lot of them. Because of their talent. That's what I said. You don't base your movement on what you've learned in the university and all that. Try and develop your talents, develop your skills. You understand? It can be wanted over there. You understand? So some European countries they do kind of talent hunts. You understand? Even cultural. If you have cultural kind of experience, like all this drama troupe and all that, you are welcome over there, because most of the European countries love African cultures. You understand? So they want people that are able to like come and develop it here. You don't need to go home, just make it home here. You understand? So they do that. But I don't have much light on Europe, to be honest. I don't have much light on Europe. I'm always based on Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and America. US.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, New Zealand is just like Canada too, sir. And Australia. They have a skilled workers program. They have kind of that express entry whereby province will nominate you to come over to their province and work and live there. You understand? Now, I want to chip in something, please. When you go in through express entry, through provincial nomination program, whereby the province nominates you to come over there, you have to stay in that province for 1 or 2 years before you can move out of that province. You have to stay there for 1 or 2 years before you can move out of that province. So the New Zealand package is just like the Canada, just like Australia. They have, most of their packages are almost the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, another question.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning,
Thank you for everything. My question is this. I want to ask, based on study routes for Canada, is it advisable to go alone? Though you know you have families, is it advisable to go alone, or what? I don't know. What's the possibility of you going alone, not as in giving visa, or going with your family and not your visa not being declined? So that's the question.
Okay. Thank you.
So
added to that also, how easy will it be? Especially when it comes to flow, cash flow, because you have number of hours you can work. Every student has a work hour.
20 hours per week.
So imagine, and that 20 hours, I bet you that will not feed you, will not take care of your responsibility. And especially if you have a family and you're a student, you want to remit some money home. Because you'll be mindful of your wife, your children, and here you are, you're a student, and you have limited time to work. And that work, maybe $8, if I'm talking about in US, $8 per hour. So multiply $8, and you cannot multiply by 20, that's the max. So it's like you've been gated the amount of money that can come into your account in a week, in a month, and that might not be enough. So you have to be mindful. So when you are relocating and you're applying for, studentship, please, as you're applying for yourself F1 visa, apply for your wife F2 visa. It's open. My wife, myself, and my family, this is the amount I have, and this is how I want to do it. Once you tender out that and they confirm that to be true, you will not be denied. You will not be denied, except you are lying. And that's why it's good to have a backup. You have financial stability, because everybody is a potential traveler. Everybody. Once you have what it takes to do it, and you're not going there to look after anybody, neither are you going to depend on anybody. Because you're a potential traveler, you do it legitimately. If you're traveling, it's not that you just wake up today and say, I'm traveling today. You must have been planning it. 1 year, 2 years, savings, backing up. This is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to study. After 5 years, this is my milestone. You'll be able to mark it. And if you don't have it, then you are heading towards, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I would advise that you go with your family. Another challenge is depression. You don't have anybody around you, because nobody will come to your house and say, oh, how are you feeling? Yes. You have to your tent, oh Israel. If you have ever... There is nobody. 1 year, you may not see your neighbor. Everybody has the clocking time. And if you don't know your clocking time, sorry. Nobody will come over and say, oh, do you know you forget to wake up? No. Yes. Some, they wake up, in fact, they pick up job as 1 o'clock and they close by 3 or 4. They only give them 2 or 3 hours to work. Midnight. And if that is not the opening for you, that's what you have to do. So as a student, and by 8 o'clock, you have a class. So look at this timetable. So shocky, so tight, thin. But if you have a family, as you are coming home, your wife has already cooked for you. So, your son is saying, Daddy, welcome. That's, you have a cushion effect. Huh? But if you're alone, in times of snow, only you. So take a second look and think about it. Huh? So you see students that, look, I can't continue this, they are dropping off. These are the factors. Nobody has given them idea that look at what you are going to face if you do it this way, and look at the option of 2 that you are going to face if you do it that way. Please, anytime you are traveling and you have option of going with your family, go with them. Because they are your backbone, they are your support, they are your pillar. And most of the time, anytime you're going, you have a good arrangement with your wife that this is our mission. This is how we want to do it. Not that when we get there, everybody will now separate. So please, it's good to go with your family and plan it right. May the Lord help us.
I want to buttress what you just said. I also want to chip in something, please. Once you are done with your masters over there in Canada, that's not the end of your stay there. Canada will give you a postgraduate work permit. You understand? So you can stay there and then work. So that's it.
In America, they call it OPT.
Yes.
There is a practical training. That is like you have option to have experience after your training.
Just like our NYSC.
Exactly. So the OPT is meant for you to have American experience on work experience. And that is going to add to your profile. If you have your OPT and you are presenting that, oh, he has American working experience. And that's, is like an extension of your visa. you don't have to come home to do OPT in US. And once you have that, it's a plus. So many people use that to apply. Once you present your OPT, you can apply for H1B. H1B is a visa that allows you to work, and legitimately you'll be allowed to work. So you don't have to come home and they all knew that these parts are available. But if you don't apply, if you don't do it that rightly, then everybody look at you as illegal immigrant.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. You are somehow close to my question. There has been I travel with my wife for schooling, and schooling, she's doing stuff and all that. Then after school, I now said, yeah, look like where I can stay. Do I need to come back to Nigeria to process my documents, or I stay there, from there I can work out stuff? Is it clear?
You have... Yeah.
That's also actually part of what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
So how does all this OBT, all this is we're saying now, how does it, because no Nigeria really travels to go and study and come back in this day. That one used to happen in 1960. So how does it lead to, what's that final thing? Permanent, not even PR, beyond the one after it, citizenship. How does it lead to it?
I mean, okay, you want to say something?
After the OBT, you can't just go into citizenship straight away. It's not possible. You must have your PR. The first PR they're going to give you is going to be valid for 10 years. Okay? Now, if you don't have any criminal issue, you don't have any health issue, you can now proceed to citizenship. But have it at the back of your mind that they will come to your community to confirm how you've been doing to that community and all that. They are not going to give you citizenship based on credit. No. They will ask people out, people around you, people around your community, what's this guy doing and all that? What's your relationship with him and all that? Those are the things that will lead you to citizenship.
Okay, question. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm sure our guests will be wondering, this church, do you want all their members to disappear? No. Like a pastor will say, people have their roles and routes in life to open people up to opportunities. If God has said, go that way, so you don't say that the church blocked you. I want to focus on a particular aspect of traveling that this church has pushed and keeps pushing for years. One of our goals and vision is to ensure that all marriages are like heaven on earth. And that's why we spend time to talk about marriage, relationship, and all those stuff. Now, I spoke to a client of mine 2 days ago. She just came back abroad, took her daughter. And she said, we were discussing. And she said, among several things, that, Manuel, do you know I called one of my friends, we were discussing. Friend is in Canada. And I asked her, I said, how are things doing? And she said, well, things are fine. She said, calm down. You're not trying to play. How are things doing? And she said, no, I can't lie to you. Out of all our friends in our group, my marriage is the only one standing. I'm just telling you. And it is standing because, she's standing because my wife, my husband and I were friends right from secondary school that have become so much of family that if my husband try any nonsense, the family will call him and say, are you normal? I'm just saying, marriages break, marriages come together. What's the role in trying to keep the family together when you travel abroad? Have you heard of any experience, the pros and cons? Just talk a little bit about it so that we have a well-rounded idea of what we're talking about.
Thank you so much for that question. That's been one of the big challenge and the experience of some people over there, especially US. You understand? I will also say that the way you lay your bed is how you lie on it. You understand? It depends on your own relationship with your wife right from here before you move down there. You understand? And I also tell some of my colleagues too that once you move away from your country to Canada and all that, you and your wife must have daily talk on how you plan your day. There must be a way you guys will plan yourself, because most times work differences causes break in their marriage. You understand? So both of you must sit down and agree on how you really want to go. From the experiences I've had, though, from people talking to me about their marriage broken and all that, to be honest, the profession of the ladies that have been in this issue are always nurses. I don't know why. It's always nurses. Always nurses. They're all into health worker and all that. At the end of the day, break up with their husband. And I keep telling some of my friends that it's because they get more money than you. Yes, because they are like hot cake over there. Yes, any health worker, even if you can work in a psychiatric hospital, you are a big woman. You're a real potential big woman. You understand? Because if you are off work and they call you for maybe overtime and all that, you get money. You understand? So it's mainly health workers that always have this issue of broken homes and all that. But the only thing I will say is that God is the only person that can put things through. Honestly speaking, I don't have any advice for that, to be honest. But the only thing I can only say is that at least prepare yourself, have that cordial agreement before leaving here. And when you get there, remind yourself of what you've just said before we left Nigeria. You understand? So I think that's the way.
I'm sorry, I need to speak to this one. You are right. So the first thing is because they earn more. Second is also stress. You know, anybody working in the medical, in hospital, they are very highly stressed. Yes. If you go to a hospital and see how nurses snap at people, that's stress talking.
Burnout.
Burnout. And then secondly, maybe they do a lot of nights, their husband, so they are always gone when their husband is, so they are not spending a lot of time together.
Integration.
Okay, so that's that. How does one deal with it is what we should say. Number one, have it at the back of our minds.